It's an AI house.
Smart home. That's what they call it.
I really thought by now homes would be like, I really thought we'd be in flying cars and like homes would be like automatically like freaking automated. Technology has let me down.
Yes. Why am I still touching a door handle?
That's what I'm saying. Why can I not hold my phone up and the video projects like this?
Iron Man?
Yes. Why am I looking at it like this?
It's also funny thinking about
I hate it here.
virtual reality stuff that you would see like at the mall back in the day, and you're like, oh yes, this is the future.
Yeah.
And we're like barely just now getting Oculus.
Right, and it's like 2022.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
What do we be doing? You know what? We actually be putting our energy into the absolute wrong spaces. So what if I told y'all that every time something happens, I just be like, I hate it here. So listen to this. Scientists are about to broadcast Earth's location to aliens. Y'all laughing? This is real.
Only good things can come from that.
Okay, wait.
Have y'all not watched any movie?
Believe in. I don't want to say aliens. Believe in life outside of Earth. Yes. No.
So that's the thing. I don't want to say it ain't true.
I don't rule it out. I don't rule it out.
Okay, yeah.
But I also don't think that we should be sending our location out to the aliens.
I think we have enough problems on Earth.
Yo, so look, they talking about, they know we here. They lock their doors when they drive past Earth because it definitely is the ghetto. So listen. Before his death in 2018, Stephen Hawking said a number of times he believed aliens existed somewhere in the universe. And while he felt trying to find and learn about them was a worthy pursuit, that attempting to contact them was not a very good idea. And scientists... You don't say. And they sending out our location to the aliens, bro. Have we not seen enough movies? What good can your girl know from your location?
Sharing location.
What good can come from that? This is just as bad as your girl knowing where you are all the time. I'm joking. I'm about to get married.
You better chill, bro. I think let's go ahead and start the pod.
I'm sorry, guys.
Let's start the pod.
I'm sorry.
Welcome back to another episode of the Soundboard Podcast. This is episode 35.
Yes, sir.
You already know this is Coop.
It's your main man Dante and
Nikki P, notoriously from IG.
Kalandra, stay locked in. Mr. Insummation himself.
Yes, sir. So we got a special guest today, Mr. Nikki P.
Yep.
in the building.
He is in the building. So JJ's not here.
Right.
JJ actually had to go handle some business.
He was
some
scared.
work.
He was scared.
He was running from smoke or what?
All right, Nick, hold on. JJ might come back early. But so we thought it would be so dope to bring in somebody who is a part of our soundboard, especially Coop's soundboard.
Oh yeah.
To the podcast. So Nick, why don't you let everybody know a little bit about yourself?
It's hard to define who
Don't you hate
I
that
am as a
question?
person. Yeah. Who is Nick?
Give me your elevator speech.
I don't know, man. Right now I'm focusing a lot on just work and providing. My girlfriend went back to school. She's getting eventually get her PsyD. So locking down a doctor right now.
Oh
which is
yeah.
amazing.
Get her caught up. Get her caught up, Nick.
Smart man.
But yeah, focusing on work, have some other business stuff in some like really interesting areas, making custom keyboards, really niche thing.
Oh, dope.
Yeah.
But as far as like who I am, I guess as a person, some might say I'm a zealot for my values at times.
Break that down.
A zealot. Hold on, Nick. Don't be coming in here trying to use big words. Because I already told you, what episode was that when it was like insummation? Don't insummation us. Use English.
What you mean you're a zealot?
Yeah. I'm zealous too.
We all zealot in here.
Yeah.
I really want to. I have hardline ideals, and I don't like bending or sacrificing. So sometimes that's a great thing because I want to, have like a strong backbone with what I think is right. But sometimes I come off as trying to fight and trying to be antagonistic. So, it goes both ways.
Have you always been like that, Nick?
Oh, anyone in my family will tell you I've always. I mean, Chris has known me since 4th grade.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Oh, Nick probably was like that 4th grader. You're like, oh, I hate to see him come. Everybody else on the playground trying to play. Nick's like, what are your political beliefs?
It's funny though,
Let me
'cause
tell you why.
I feel like it's only. I mean, as a white person, it really came.
You're
to light.
white?
Oh, by the way, everybody.
I'm Italian.
It's Chris and I were talking about this though, like, as a white person, you're just sheltered from so much stuff. Even growing up poor, I'm still not having to deal with so many things in life, right? So even when we were talking about, I was talking to Chris a while back, and he was saying, something that was like, I was asking him about, I don't know, like some toy or action figure, and Chris said, I wasn't allowed to have white action figures. As a white person, initially hearing that, it was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Moving on, didn't really think anything of it.
Right.
But now, dating a Native American, and obviously, like, being, invited in the Black community, a lot throughout my life, and then now being way smarter than I was, 5-10 years ago.
Right.
It was like, oh man, like representation matters
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't growing up this weird, pseudo enlightened kid thinking that he was smarter than everybody at all. I was probably more not necessarily like, apathetic, but I just wasn't aware of so many things in the world.
Right.
And so now I'm just trying to become more aware. I do want to go into politics one day.
You want to go into politics?
I want to be able to. We were talking about this too. Like, Chris wanted to be a dad, and Chris has like a legacy to pass down. I don't really want kids, at least not now in my life. So I want to make an impact in one way or another. And it might be wrong me thinking that I can do that through politics. I know a lot of people have tried, it doesn't work, but
Right.
I want to be able to make an impact though.
I think that's dope. You know what? I think that's dope. Nick, I can see you.
Definitely.
Nick. I can definitely see you going into politics.
You give me what's his name from Batman?
Who?
Two-Face, but his real name
Harvey?
Harvey Dent. Nick, now I don't know if I'm gonna be there in support or throwing tomatoes yet. But we gonna see how this progresses. So you mentioned that Coop. Y'all known each other since 4th grade?
Yes, sir.
Y'all known each other since 4th grade.
Shout out Miss Lord.
Oh yeah, Miss
Oh,
Lord.
was that y'all teacher?
Yeah.
Okay, dope. So you guys met, and how have y'all maintained? Because how old are you in the 4th grade? What is that like? So
Probably
long
8.
ago.
We're
8 or
opening
9.
up with the hard questions.
Yeah.
Right now.
Look, we over doing math.
You're
Count
probably
back.
8 or 9.
Okay, so 8 or 9, y'all are now 32. How have you guys maintained a friendship this long, especially like being a part of each other's soundboard?
That's a good question.
I think part of it is I feel like we want to be good people above everything else. We
Okay.
actually had a little club in middle school.
We had a gang.
You want to talk about it?
We had a gang.
Y'all had a gang.
You want to talk? Go ahead.
So our middle school was split into two factions. We had the TSO.
No,
They're TSO.
TOS.
Yeah, TOS.
Terminate on site.
That was the gang.
Hold on. Wait. Terminate on site.
Yeah, so their bikes, they put foil on their rims. So that's how you knew they were TOS.
TSA.
Okay.
And then we made our own gang.
What was y'all
Because we had to
gang?
fight back. It has to be balance in the world. We were the good guys.
You had to fight evil.
Our gang was the good guys.
The GGs.
The GGs.
But it was funny because we were just joking around about the TOS thing. They took it like semi-serious, right?
Yeah.
But we jokingly talk about being we the GGs,
Yeah.
right? But it was funny because we were still friends with everybody, like even like the little bad kids.
Yeah.
But they would be like, "Yo, man, let me in on the GGs though."
Like, no,
we'd be like, "No, bro,
You're not a good guy.
Your credentials don't add up.
You're just not a
If
good guy.
this is not the most suburban thing I've ever heard, I don't know what is. So, how many recruits did y'all have in the GGs?
We only accepted one.
Freddie.
Yeah.
Y'all are bad leaders.
He had to change his way.
No, we
to
had
change
high
his ways.
standards. We had
Yeah.
high standards. Bro.
Not everybody can get in, bro. Yeah,
I
everybody's
understand
a
that, but
GG.
for the legacy of the GGs, you had to bring in people into the fold.
They weren't up to the standard.
I'd rather die out than bring somebody here who is not up to the standard. Okay, so you guys had the GGs, the good guys.
Yeah.
And is that how you guys have maintained this relationship over this long?
I think it's always been really tight, and it's like with my mom. I think I've said this on before. It's like when you find good people, hold on to them.
Yeah, that's real.
So like Nick was somebody I met. He's probably my oldest friend to date.
Bro, that's a long time. I was gonna say
that I
that's
still
like
really talk to.
almost that is the majority of your life. You've had him in your life longer than you grew up not having him in your life.
Right. So it's just like really dope person, really good guy, obviously. Gang. We're in a gang also.
Gang.
So so it's just like
Blood in, blood out.
right, exactly. Just stay in communication because it's somebody that it's like I know that no matter what, it's a good person to have in my life.
So I guess my question for you guys is, I know when I was in college, that's when I kind of saw a lot of my relationships kind of express, like for the first time, especially old friends, experience tension because, you know, you go to college, you go to different schools, you make new friends. How did you guys navigate that space?
Well, I can say we did have a falling out. All my fault. I can own up to
You know
it.
what, Nick? I respect the fact that you said it was your fault.
I told we were talking. I mean, we've been talking a lot this weekend. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm not up here all the time, right?
Yeah.
And I was telling Chris like that is part of the reason I am so critical of people and their beliefs and how they interact with the world because I will say like I messed up. I will say that.
Yeah,
Maybe not to my girlfriend because her and I got to keep the stubbornness at the house.
Yeah,
But
right,
but
right.
like but for real though, I will say like I mean we went
We were like 2 or 3 years.
2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Y'all went 2-3
I'm
years
not-
without
I'm not
talking?
Without talking, yeah.
Okay, so how did y'all have the falling out 2-3 years? Like, if there's somebody who's listening right now who had a friend, maybe they grew up, they had a falling out, how did you guys come back together? What was the thing that brought y'all back together?
I can't even remember. It wasn't that. I don't think. Well, I don't know how Nick feels, but I was never mad at Nick. It
Okay.
was a situation. I don't want to necessarily get into it, but it's a situation where he was hanging with somebody that I did not like at all.
Okay.
So it's like I just didn't want to be.
But
in that.
we could say no, I'm not gonna say a name, but
Yeah.
we could say it was a girl, right? And me being a young, dumb man, not man, I felt like I was a boy at that point. I'm 18, 19, 20, 21, whatever it was,
Right.
and you're blinded by love, right?
Yeah.
Love, what you think is love.
Yeah,
what you think is love. Yeah, what you think. But it was really a toxic relationship, and she was abusive essentially, and
Yeah.
so eventually I don't know if we started talking. I may have eventually reached out to you, maybe after the relationship or something.
Probably,
I don't know. It was
something like that,
I probably
yeah.
was like, "Yo, you were right."
But you know, so you know what's so crazy? Because I would say that is probably
I hear that a lot.
That is probably okay. You're wrong. You're wrong. Wrong guy. That needs to be your club. But I think that is so, bro. I think that is so. That's one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah.
Is like be a friend to somebody who's in a toxic relationship and they're dead set on being in that relationships. I can't count how many friendships I've lost because of a situation like that.
Right,
Where people are like in a toxic situation and you're like, yo, you can do so much better. This person doesn't deserve you. And they like, hey, mind your business.
Yeah.
And you like, you know what? I'm gonna go mind my business.
Definitely.
So that's dope.
That was an early life lesson. I didn't know that.
That's dope.
I'll say that me, Chris, reaching out because I don't know if we were like we had like really reconnected, but him inviting me to his wedding, I feel like that was our first time to see each other in
In a long
a
time.
long
That's
time,
very true,
and that
yeah.
was a very special day.
Yeah.
I got to see Chris, and even like Dever. I don't know, I got to see like friends that I
Yeah.
met through Chris
Right.
that I hadn't really been in touch with, and then even seeing his mom and dad, who I grew up no dad in the house, and so me playing basketball and hooping with Chris all the time.
Yeah.
I was just talking to him about like. Dude, your dad was like imparting wisdom on us all.
Oh no, that's what we gonna have on the pod next.
Yes,
Right.
That man deep.
Yeah.
I am underqualified for this. He is overqualified for it. Yeah, seriously.
No, that is so dope. I just think that friendships are man, you just experience so much tension in friendships. So just to hear y'all were able to like let bygones be bygones, because at the end of the day, the friendship matters.
Right.
That's dope.
Right,
That's dope.
right,
and now
right.
look at us. We're here. You guys have had a whole weekend and ripping and running, tearing up.
We tore the city up.
Tearing up Dallas, Texas.
The city will never be the same.
What did you guys
Okay, but
do?
really, we're so washed.
Yes.
we first off, we go to a game.
Y'all went to a Mavs
We go to
game.
a Mavs game.
Yeah.
And we stopped watching the game because they're up by 50. We have like a total of one drink.
At the bar, but we there the whole game.
Wait, one drink.
The bartender keeps looking at us like,
Are you guys gonna order more?
She did.
Are
She
you
did.
broke?
Because we got drink. We got a drink, but we stayed at the. We didn't walk off. We kept our real estate. We kept our real estate.
Bartenders hate people
No, wait,
like
hold
you
on.
guys.
When we got there, it was dead.
yeah, it was dead. It was dead.
And then by the time it got a little crazy, eventually we were like, okay, let's like
Yeah,
let
let's
someone else
move
up
away.
here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Y'all didn't feel the pressure. Y'all didn't feel her judgmental eyes looking at y'all.
I kept locking eyes with her and like giving her the no.
Did eventually she quit coming up to y'all asking if y'all were good?
yeah, she did.
But we
Yeah.
did that afterwards.
We were supposed to go out. See, I've been locked. Let me explain something to everybody listening. Dallas used to be my city. I was the mayor.
Boy, you from Sacagawea. Where you from?
Watauga. The streets of Watauga.
Whataburger. You from Whataburger, boy.
Dallas used to be my city. I used to be the mayor. But since Casey came into my life,
She's the mayor.
I don't know. I don't know. Like I went
What's
out.
poppin'?
I don't know. I don't recognize any of the bartenders. I don't recognize any of the bouncers. Like I don't know what to do anymore. So I was like, oh yeah, we can hit this spot. Whack. Hit this spot. Whack.
Dang, you put Nick through that?
No, hold on. I don't even like. Some people love like that energy, like, oh, let's go to this place. It's popping. You know,
Yeah.
I don't like that. I want to
Yeah.
get into a place. I mean, I've taken Chris out in Austin.
Yeah.
I want to go to a place where you gotta have like a passcode to get in. You get in, there's 6 people.
Yeah.
And
Good
it's just-
music.
yeah.
Good music. Good drinks. As little people as possible.
You like
That's the goal.
exclusivity.
I like to be able to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
You know what I
that.
mean?
I feel that. I enjoy that too.
So then we end up staying out to 2 a.m. not drinking, just talking.
The night ended with us hanging out with his dad.
Yeah.
That's how wild it got.
Wow.
And then we went to sleep, and we were supposed to work out the next morning.
Didn't
and I told
do
Chris,
that.
and I said, "Hey, I think I'm gonna skip the workout today."
Didn't do that. So yeah, we've really just been chilling. And
Okay.
even when we called for our pre-production meeting, I was like, yeah, Daddy's getting drunk today.
You're so fake. So guys, we have a meeting every Friday. Of course, we have the meeting on Coop's day out.
Right.
And so Coop, we have our pre-production meeting. We're on the phone. Coop's like, it's loud in the back. He's like, can you guys hear me? I'm out. Can you hear me? I'm out. Is it too loud? Yeah, man. Daddy's getting drunk. And I'm like, sir, we're trying to talk about what we're going to talk about on the episode. And to hear that you was at her on one drink,
Faking the funk.
faking you're so fake.
We averaged one drink every
Hour and a half.
270 minutes. It was,
But it sounds like you guys had a good time.
Oh, great time.
Yeah.
Great time.
Sounds like you had a good time. Good,
when you're a
good.
GG, you have a good time based on like the company, not like the substances.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Actually, I think that's a thing though, because I'm gonna be honest with y'all. The older we get, and I don't know if we just wore ourselves out when we were younger drinking.
Probably.
Like now, I'm like you guys. I just want to talk to my friends.
Yeah.
I just want to
That's
talk to
it.
my friends. That's it.
it.
That is it. I just want to talk to my friends.
Yeah.
But it's dope, man. I should have invited you guys out to Jaden's birthday party yesterday.
Oh, our little birthday.
Yeah, so we had a so Jaden turned 16 on Tuesday. We actually had a birthday party for her this past Saturday, and surprisingly, a young man that we go to church with also has the exact same birthday. They were born on the exact same day.
Oh.
They both turned 16
They
on
twins.
Tuesday. That's what I said. I was like, y'all like twins.
Yeah.
So we got with his mom, and we basically threw like this huge field day.
Oh.
So we rented out a park, and we literally spent the whole day like at the park.
Invited all their
we
friends.
grilled. We invited all their friends. This dude brought the whole football team out, which made me really question the hormones and foods these days.
They're big.
Bro, them jokers was grown men. I was like, are you sure some of y'all are in high school?
Did you feel challenged?
I felt challenged.
You know I can knock you.
Right. I will. I will break your neck. I'm Kirk Franklin. And so it was just a good time, bro. So we taught the kids how to play. We taught them how to play kickball. They were unfamiliar with the sport.
The game?
Yes, bro.
They're like, oh, we played some old timey game at the birthday party. It was so fun.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. It's like baseball, except you kick it, bro. So we taught them how to play kickball. We played a game of knockout.
Oh, okay. They knew how to play that.
They knew how to play knockout. Okay. We played. We did like a tournament style football team because, of course, he brought all the football players there. I mean, like, bro, like 20, 30 of them.
So they were ready to. They were ready for sport.
They ready to sport. Do the sports. Yeah. The girls was chilling. Yeah. Having a good time.
That sounds like fun. Why can't you throw me a party like that, Doc?
Bro, that's what I said. Forget these kids. Whoa. We doing this for adults next time.
I want a kickball party for my next birthday.
Bro, it was fun.
Too many hamstrings will be pulled.
Actually, you are correct.
What are you talking about?
Bro, we had them. We did, and we finished off with an old fashioned relay.
Oh, yeah.
But you had obstacles. So, like, the first obstacle, you had to...
systemic racism. You had to get over that wall.
That's the first obstacle you had to get over. We still working to get over that. Nick, talk to your people. You had to do, like, a potato sack race.
Yeah.
You had to go to... Point 1 was potato sack. So, when you got to point 2, you had to do continuous 10 jump ropes. In continuous. Yeah. You have to do them at one time. So then you have to drop it, run to hula hoops. Yeah. You have to hula hoop, 5 hula hoops continuously. Bro, the dudes were out there losing.
Oh yeah,
losing. Hard. So then from there, hula hoops we went to agility. So you have to go through the agility, and then we ended off with them we put up like these little wires and you had to crawl under it.
Yeah.
And then
barbed wire.
Yeah, like barbed wire. Like you can't touch the wire.
Real barbed wire.
Bro, and then we were just throwing water balloons on them as they came through it.
Like the Marines.
Like, hey.
Dante thinks he's slick. He's starting the AAU team.
Yeah.
He's starting the
tryouts. That was tryouts. Bro, it was so much fun, but I was so tired, bro.
Bro, that's fun. My next party's gonna be like that.
Bro, I just feel like
come prepared.
Because we're older, we might play one game and then we're gonna be sitting down.
No, money on the line.
Nah, bro, we can do dominoes, we can do spades,
no.
relay and all that.
We're gonna do the 40 time, we're gonna do the high jump.
Combine.
But we about to have so many hurts, scrapes, and bruises.
I was just hearing Chris coming down the stairs from doing some with the baby. And God.
Yo, that's the real thing. Once you get over 30, bro, stuff just start hurting for no reason.
30's 25. 25 things start
real.
going.
25
it's a little slower, but it starts going.
It starts going downhill. So we end up doing that, bro. And the kids really enjoyed themselves. Jaden enjoyed themselves celebrating their birthday. And so it was a genuine good time.
That's what's up.
So that's what I've been having going on. Now, you guys know that we have kind of been chilling on the question of the week, partly because y'all weren't answering them. But I'm gonna let that slide. And so what we've been doing is just kind of mixing it up. Nick, I know, I'm sorry, Nick. I know you've been waiting to go comment.
Yeah. There's every once in a while I'll tell Chris, I'll say, I'm about to blow your comments up. And then I'll think about it and I'm just like, people aren't ready for this smoke, so never mind.
Nick, so every time Nick gets on, I always be like,
yeah, what do you think when you see Nick commented on what?
I'll be like, let me find time. Let me personally find time. I will drop what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I will drop what I'm doing. Drop everything and comment. Because I'll be like, let me just go and comment. Because Nick, one thing about me, I'm a talk.
Yeah.
So Nick be like, I'm finna blow the comments up.
Yeah.
I also have grenades.
I would rather have
the conversation.
Conversation. I don't care if it's conversation, debate, fight. What I would rather it than someone being like, "Oh, that's so rude. You shouldn't say that."
Yeah,
and then end it. Like, just tell me what you think. Like,
I'm gonna tell you what I think.
That's so
real. So Nick. So we haven't been doing that, but we actually got a sound off based on our conversation last week. Now, if you haven't listened to last week's episode, we talked about dating. A listener who we are part of his soundboard said that all these women been coming up to him with kids, and so he wanted to get our opinion on dating a woman with kids. Now we had a response from one of our our faithful listeners, and she had this to say.
Hey everybody, it's Kalundra, aka Hungry Girl, aka Young Lundra.
Hey.
I'm not here to address the gentleman that has the reservations regarding dating a single mother. So, as I listened again, you stated that you're being approached by single moms. You, sir, are a man. So, if a woman's approaching you, just know that you don't have to succumb. Also, you are a hunter. So go out there and find who aligns with their lifestyle. There are plenty of women that are single with no children. I know lots of them. I am one of them. And we are all your age. So I would say go for what you know and what you prefer. So yes, sir. Good luck to you, young man.
Kalundra, pick your voice up.
She's trying to be seductive.
Try to sound seductive. This is not Tinder.
Christian mingled.
This is not Tinder. She is like, go hunt, be a hunter.
Yeah.
But I agree. I agree with what she said. Like, go date what you want. Like, I think a lot of times people go after what other people feel is right. So you kind of, everybody's like, well, you know, you should date someone with kids. It's okay to date people with kids. Hey, bro, but if that ain't your thing, that's not your thing. That's not your thing. Go find what you're looking for. Nick, now we have you on the pod. What do you feel about that? Because you're a faithful listener. You heard last week's discussion.
Two things. One, what are you wearing where it's just
Mom
parents
said
and mom's
that to
clothes?
you?
What's going on?
Oh, he gives daddy vibes.
He looks responsible.
He's like just wearing Sperry topsiders and Birkenstocks everywhere. What's going on? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's a huge undertaking to, you know, say that I'm ready to be a co-parent or be a dad.
It is.
I mean, yeah, right.
is.
And so it's like, you know, there's a certain point where you should see that kid as an asset to your life and not a liability.
Yeah.
And I think it takes a lot to get to that point, especially when it's not your child. You're taking on, you know, just, you don't know where they are, like, mentally, what the other parents like. So there's a lot of, you know, unknowns going into the relationship. So, and it's one of those things where, like, when you're dating other people, you shouldn't be dating someone like trying to change them, right? Like, people are gonna grow and change naturally, but if you're trying to change something about them, and obviously this is like a huge thing, you're not gonna be able to change the relationship of like the mother and the child, and so yeah, I mean,
or you could, but you probably shouldn't. You probably shouldn't.
She's mine now.
It doesn't make you like any. It's you know. I would say don't try and be like this chivalrous person and be like, oh, I don't want to date you just because you have a kid. It's okay to be like, I'm not ready to co-parent a child. It's
Right.
going to be fine.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's good. I think that's a valid point. And essentially, that's what Kalundra said. Look at y'all agreeing.
Yep.
That's what Kalundra said. And so he's also a listener of the show. And so you heard what Kalundra said. DM her, sir.
Dante, how did you know? How did you know that you were like okay with being a co-parent, like already?
So I think the first time, and I talked about it when I was younger, I definitely wasn't ready. And so I did it, but I always had these reservations. Like at that time I was 21. So it was like, am I ready to be somebody's dad?
Right.
Like I'm still getting drunk.
Right.
Like I'm still out here every weekend.
Yeah.
But the second time, you know, Olivia and I did it, I was 27, more mature, knew more about what I wanted. I had already been out here, done drank, done smoked.
You're not getting drunk anymore, but you're getting tipsy.
Yeah. I just want something to make me feel good, you know. But I had already, that season of life had passed me by.
Yeah.
I think the issue is, at first, I was still trying to be in that season and also, you know, trying to be responsible because it does come with responsibility. But like you said, I don't see Jaden as, I see her as an asset. She's dope. She be telling me about myself, which we're going to talk about later. But she's dope. And I think I love our relationship. So it's almost like you have to also value the relationship with the mother, but you also have to value the relationship with the kid. Like, we have great conversations. She teaches me a lot. Like, man, kids have so much to say if you just listen to them.
What did Kanye say?
What?
Listen to the kids, bro.
No, real talk.
Listen to the kids,
Listen
bro.
to the kids, man. And so Jaden really is a joy to have. So I think I loved Olivia so much that, like, it didn't even cross my mind to like have a life where I also didn't love Jaden as much.
Oh, that's
equally.
cute. That's cute. Hold on, man. You deserve one of these.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
Oh! Chill out, bro. Chill out. Chill out.
But that's interesting. Y'all kept talking about liability and asset because we had another sound off, but he didn't send it in. Of course, from the wisdom.
Ooh.
Pops.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have him on the show. We're going to have him on the show.
And it was about, I think it was 2 episodes ago when we were talking about why people don't have kids anymore. And he said the number one reason is because after the Industrial Revolution, kids switched from assets to liabilities. So before that, your kids helped run your farm. So they're an
that's real.
asset. Now that you don't have a farm, they're only a liability.
They costing you money. They ain't making you no money.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. So,
No, that is dope, man.
Yeah.
That is dope. I mean, they are an asset during tax time. I'll be like, dang, let me carry somebody's kids. Please, let me carry a kid or two.
that's funny. But
I need that.
But speaking of,
Stepdads.
Segway killer. Recently, on the Pivot podcast,
Right.
we talked about the I Am Athlete before. So the Pivot podcast,
They
was
branched off and did
spun
their
off
own
of that,
thing. Uh-huh.
right? Channing Crowder has some interesting things to say,
He bothers me so much, bro.
and this is what he had to say.
But Russell and Sierra. Yeah, if Russell ain't had that bread, she ain't gonna be with him. Russell Square. Russell Square. Sierra had she has a good situation, but you gonna leave Future and get with Russell Wilson.
The thing is,
I think that's where you don't leave Future and get with Russell Wilson. Like, it's a type. Everybody has a type.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody has a type. You gonna leave Future and get with Russell
Thing is
Wilson?
this, though, when you
He's
have-
so goddamn square, and I love him on the field. He's a square.
Channing.
He's a fucking square.
He was a little too passionate for me.
He was so passionate.
Jenny really
likes
likes
Future. He likes Future.
He
They're like,
really likes
I would never leave Future for Russ.
Do you want him, Channing? Do you want him? So there's so many things wrong with that. Like the fact that he could not even come up with an argument why Future was better.
Right.
He just kept saying,
He said,
Future.
Future's way cooler than Russ. Why would you date Future? Why would you go with Russ?
Future. So yeah, bro, he said he was a square. He said he was corny.
Right.
Cornball.
Corn man.
He said he was a cornball. Do y'all agree? Nick, do you think Russell is corny?
Russell is corny,
Right.
But the opposite end of the spectrum is an abusive partner. It's like, we're not talking about just some other cool. It's not Michael B. Jordan.
Right.
We're talking about Why can't she realize I don't want this? I want the opposite. Dating is all about finding people
Right.
to contrast them against
Right.
what you eventually really want.
Right.
She had it, and she said, I'm not.
It's ghetto over here.
Yes. Dirty Sprite 2 is the name of your album? What did I get myself into?
Yeah, and this is the thing. Somebody made a valid point. They was like, she wants peace. Guys, think about all the guys that Sierra done dated. And all of them, 50 Cent,
Right.
Bow Wow,
Emotional terrorist. All of them.
Emotional Damage, Future. Baby girl, at this point, it's you, Sierra.
Right,
like you're picking. She did have a
She
type.
realized her.
She-
She realized her pattern though.
She
Right.
realized her pattern.
Right.
She probably went to therapy. You know, y'all love therapy.
Right.
She probably went to therapy, healed some things, and then got a good man.
Yeah.
She went from Dirty Sprite to oat milk. But
Healthy option.
Healthy option.
Yeah, so I mean, I basically agree. Russ is corny, but corny's
But
not always.
is he corny?
Okay, I guess we have to define corny. So what's corny to you, Dante?
I think corny to me is just like lame. And so I also think that people are gonna have different. It's subjective.
Right.
So like what's corny to Nick may not be what's corny to me.
Okay.
So when y'all say Russell Wilson is corny, I'm like, how is he corny?
It's doing the thing. This sounds bad, but when you're doing, I know I'm a GG, like I'm a good guy. But when you're going above and beyond to be super good guy,
You're corny.
I don't want to be in that gang.
Bro, it's girls who were saying, sign me up for corny.
Yeah.
Because it's that bad.
Right.
I think it says more about like your personality. Your personality is so like vanilla,
Yeah.
in a sense.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, so if you ever seen like a post game for like a, you know, on the NFL, they'll ask like a quarterback or a coach something, and they're just like, yeah, you know, we just need to keep executing the plays and you know, do what we're here to do. And
Right.
And it's like that's like your whole personality is just like so
Right.
like just like
Scripted.
platitudes and
Yeah.
scripted
Yeah.
and like in plain. Yeah, so it's like you could be a good person but still be like, you know, rambunctious and like robust.
Yes,
but,
yes.
These corny people are like they're
They
squares.
they
yeah.
stay within the square. They
Yeah,
don't get out of the bounds
exactly,
at all. So my next question is, I think this is gonna be fun.
Okay.
He thinks that Russ is corny.
Okay.
I want y'all to name 2 people that y'all think are corny, and tell me why.
Channing Crowder.
Okay. What made him corny?
Here's why he's corny. Because he is calling Russell Wilson a square, but Channing, he's doing what you're doing.
Right.
So like if we're comparing the two, you would be corny as well. He's taking care of his kids. He's working his job.
Right.
He minding his business.
Right.
And Future's the opposite. So
Right.
I mean, I guess for me, that's corny to me.
Okay.
So talking about calling other people corny is corny to me.
So as Dame Dash would say, you're a man talking about another man.
You're corny.
You're corny.
That's corny. That's cornball behavior. Nick, what about you?
Ooh,
A person who's corny.
person who's corny. Aside from every Fox News anchor,
Right.
I do like,
All of
I
them
agree with
corny.
that,
I do
Nick.
like,
Nick,
I do like.
we might be friends. Cause you don't be knowing sometimes, Nick. I don't be knowing.
Dante.
But Nick,
This is something you need to know about Nick. Nick hanging out with me. He's been with me on like some of the most terrible black experiences he could.
Okay, Nick.
He's
Okay,
had
Nick.
Oculus for like black Oculus.
okay, Nick. Right now, you outside the cookout. We might let you go grab a plate in a minute.
Hey, wait, real quick, little side note. I don't like when we were at where we were at Carlos Going Away thing.
What's
and
happened?
I was dribbling with the little kid.
Uh huh.
And Block was so surprised. He was like, "Oh,
You can dribble."
Nick can dribble." I was like, "I don't like that."
There was a whole movie that called
White Man Can't
Okay, I'm sorry, Nick. So Fox News anchors, I agree
Yeah.
with
All
that.
right, but so like, I think, like, I'll give you 2 people. I think Joe Budden is corny.
Really?
I think Joe Budden is corny.
Why?
What makes him corny?
Part of it is, well, first off, I mean, when your job is to just commentate on other people,
Right.
and really just, I mean, he's just dogging on people like all the time, right?
Right.
And your biggest song was this like radio hit
Right.
from 2001.
It's at least 20 years old.
It's just like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't think that
You don't think
have-
he's qualified to critique people the
I
way
don't,
he
I
does?
don't
Especially
think so.
musically.
And
Right.
when you're obviously, I feel like Joe Budden's toxic. It seems like nobody that's like partnered with them has like ever really had anything great to say or come
Right.
out on top.
That
So
is fact.
I feel
That's
like
true.
he's just always trying to elevate himself by just downing other people.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's fact. That's fact. You know, I also add to my second one. I would say that Future is corny, but also people like Future.
Yes.
And here's
The
what
most corny.
This is what I'm saying. Toxicity is corny.
Yes.
When you've developed your whole career off being toxic,
Yeah.
that's corny. And also just being a grown man as old as you are,
Acting like a-
still talking about getting women and different kind of women
And drinking lean.
and drinking lean. That's corny. That's
No.
corny to me.
A lack of growth.
That's corny to me because you out here doing grown man behavior, like bringing kids into the world,
Right.
But you're not setting a great example for them. That's corny to me.
Ooh,
It
that
is-
boy preaching.
it's
That's
really
corny to
difficult
me.
to reconcile enjoying just, just ratchet music is amazing sometimes.
Right.
I ain't gonna lie.
Gucci flip flops comes on.
ain't gonna lie.
It's amazing. But I'm not gonna lie. I was just listening to more Future, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I literally removed him from my Spotify. I don't do that
yeah.
for a lot of media. I was like, this is just like
Because
this is a lot.
So I will say, I think as we have developed, like as we have grown up, I think we've outgrown Future.
Yeah.
Because let me be very clear. I was thinking about the song that gets me going, March Madness.
March Madness.
March Madness
Yeah.
gets me going.
Yeah.
But also, I think it represents like a season of life that we were out, we were partying, we were clubbing, like that was life for us, right? Now, bro, this song he got right now talking about hating Valentine's Day or something because he got to buy so many women's gifts. Future.
Future. And I have Future on my list also.
Okay.
And it was for similar reasons. I don't like people that are too cool to be real.
What you mean?
So like, Future clearly has issues, like because he feels the need to be with so many women and all those other things.
Right, go to therapy.
But that's not something he addresses in his music, or it doesn't sound he addresses that in real life. So to me, that's corny to hide behind, I'm the man, I got all these women. But really, deep down inside, more than likely, you probably want a specific woman.
Yeah,
or
you lonely.
You're lonely, right?
The facade comes from an insecurity.
Exactly,
Right.
in itself. So it's
That's
corny.
good.
So another person I put on there is The Game, the rapper.
Why is the game corny?
I don't like, and I might be wrong, not that you probably know better than me.
What?
Because you're from the cliff.
Yeah.
I don't like when people that come from like super tough environments make it out and then try to hold on to that image or
I
that
agree with
style
that.
of life.
That's corny.
I think that's super cool. I know it can be difficult, but you haven't been poor in 20 years. Like, why are you still trying to put that image out there? Like,
Right,
that's not
right.
you anymore, bro, and that's okay.
Right.
You know what
Is
I mean?
he putting the image out, or is he trying to stay authentic to who he is and not let the money change him? Because he's still giving back to his, like he gives back a lot to his community.
Right.
So like, what I guess what is it that he does that you feel is him like being actually inauthentic and still trying to portray that?
So it might, you know, he might be being authentic. So I think it's the lack of growth. The same thing with Future.
It hasn't changed.
So
Like,
you're not changing. You
You
can't
should-
be the same at
Yeah.
40 as you were at 20. That's
Okay.
corny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you know who is the total opposite of that?
Who is that?
Jay-Z.
Yes.
I love Jay-Z's growth
Yes.
as a man.
Yes.
And you can see his growth.
Musically and business-wise.
You can see it. And, bro, that man gonna drop Beyonce's name in every song. That man like, look, I'm married.
Right.
He's going to talk about nice artwork.
Right.
He's gonna talk about his home. Like he is transitioned from talking about selling drugs,
Right.
being on the block,
Right.
to like, this is what I'm on.
And
now.
that's why his music is classic, because it's authentic.
Yeah, bro. I rock with Jay-Z so hard.
Of course, we all in life, we start very surface level about our feelings and how we are as a person. As you get older, you become more introspective.
Yeah.
And he
Right?
talks about that stuff.
Right. So now he's going deeper, so he can keep making music that's relevant to us because we go through the same things as him.
I'm
Future,
gonna bump him on the way home.
It's interesting though because old Jay-Z is better than new Jay-Z.
as
You
far
think
as,
so?
You think so?
Yes,
Musically?
but the issue is that I'm closer to, I mean, on the spectrum of being a billionaire or selling drugs, I'm closer to selling drugs than having being a billionaire, right?
Bro, Nick is funny. Nick is funny.
Once he starts talking about planking on
Artwork?
$1 million, I was like, oh, I don't know if this is made for me. I don't know if this is made for me.
I don't know if that's me.
It's aspiring,
Right.
but I don't know. So it's like I'm almost happy for Jay-Z that he doesn't really make music, that he doesn't need to.
Right.
He's outgrown even that art. Like, you know what I mean?
That medium.
Yeah, the medium. Yeah.
No, that is so. That's why him and Beyonce, they pop out when they need to pop out, and they going to hide. They
Right.
with their
Pop out,
three
pop
kids.
off, and then they go away.
With their 3 kids.
So we got two people. We had the same Future
Yeah.
the game. Okay, and then the next question is, give me 2 things that you think are corny.
Can I start?
Yes.
I'm gonna start with Smoke first.
All right.
When people talk about their life in seasons,
I'm finna whoop Nick. I'm finna whoop Nick.
it wouldn't be on Nick Pod.
I'm finna whoop Nick.
I love you, Dr.
Who could he possibly be talking?
Nick, they'll be coming on my show at the time.
Hey, but wait, look, all right, let me give you the other one though, because it's something that I'm guilty of. It's joking, and this is just like a funny one. It's nothing deep. White people doing rapper hands. Please stop. Please stop.
You know, Nick, you know what? So, Nick, I will say that since we're on the term, since you brought it up, I'll just go in and say,
Say
White people are corny.
I like no, not all. of them. I white people who are just white.
White people are just.
No, not that that's corny. I mean, I'm saying that's the opposite of corny.
Yeah.
I'm saying like just be white. Like white people who try to do other things. And I think this is for anybody. I think it's for anybody.
Right.
White people who try to do, or you know what? Let me just say this. I guess my bigger issue is people who just appropriate in general.
Okay, I got you.
That bothers me.
I got you.
You know what?
That bothers me.
You know what it is?
Tell us, please.
I'm gonna tell you.
Please tell us about this.
I'm gonna tell you.
Please tell us
No,
about us.
I'm gonna tell you about the white people.
Okay, yeah.
No, I'm gonna talk about y'all. I'm gonna tell you about the white people. Why did I say y'all though?
Nick, you saved yourself with the Fox News. Corny. Don't Nick, you getting closer and closer away from the barbecue pit. You about to be outside.
I just drive by and say hi. And I just keep going though.
Be an ally. Come drop something off and keep going.
But it's because, and so me dating a Native American as well. It's because white people have a lack of culture.
Right.
Especially at least in America, right?
Right.
So like in Europe, you have like these old, civilizations and these cities, and these governments set up for, a ton of years. In America, we're 200 years old. We have like what is the American culture? So there's obviously oppression. It's capitalism, right? It's money. It's money, and that's not a real culture. So when white people have like a lack of identity, and this is not me justifying it because it's obviously still wrong. This is just white people need to understand that whiteness, quote unquote, is a social construct, right? Us saying, oh, that's so white, this is so white, it's like so deeply like rooted in racism and like all these things, right? So they have a lack of culture, so all they try and do is appropriate instead of like understanding like your lineage and things like that. They just appropriate what they're around, and it's crap.
Yeah, I mean, Nick, it ain't just white people. Everybody be appropriating.
Yeah, but white people do it.
Everybody be doing it.
Everybody.
You want to know who they appropriate?
Who?
Us.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
What's
things
your second one?
Things that I think are corny when people down other people to make themselves seem better.
Yeah.
Like that's super corny to me.
Yeah.
Like instead of you just standing on your own, if everything out of your mouth is you putting somebody down so you can raise yourself up, that's corny behavior to me.
Yeah.
And I can think of a couple people who do that.
So, you want to say their name?
No, I ain't
shout them
gonna
out.
say it. I ain't gonna say it.
At me, bro.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say it. You just know you corny. Every time you open your mouth talk about somebody else, you know you corny.
So mine are a little bit less serious.
Okay, what are yours?
When people tuck their shirt in to show off their designer belts. Hate it. Super corny.
Hate it.
Okay, bro, you wasted $400 on a belt. We get it.
Have them be fake.
That too.
Have them be fake.
But I don't know. You want to show off a fake belt?
Yes, because people don't know it's fake.
Okay.
And this comes from somebody who had Googled, because I was thinking about getting me a fake belt.
We love the honesty.
It was a Hermes.
You want that H on your waistline?
I wanted the A.
Oh, second one. Girls taking pictures from the back to show off their red bottom shoes. Corny.
Why you keep picking your feet up, baby? Put your foot down, sweetheart.
Foot down.
That's how I know that's your only pair.
Yeah, please.
That's how I know that's your only pair. Because people who have multiple or something,
it's not a big deal.
You gonna recognize it.
Right.
You gonna recognize it and make a big deal about it. They're like, oh baby, this is life. What Rick Ross say? Y'all calling the pandemic, this is life.
Right.
Y'all blaming the pandemic.
This is life. That's funny. So the last thing, so as we make fun of other people, let's make fun of ourselves.
Right.
Give me one thing that you do that's corny.
So I had to call because we pre-planned this. And I couldn't think of something. I said, I am not a cornball. I don't do cornish behavior. I'm uncorny.
Whole time he's going to take off his mask, he Carlton Banks.
And so I said, let me call somebody who's going to be blatantly honest with me. Mm-hmm. Let me call a teenager.
Right.
So I called Jaden. Jaden's friend is with her. And I said, Jaden, Kiaria, Do I do anything that's corny? Jane says, So in my mind, Jane's thinking my birthday's coming up. If I give an answer he doesn't like, it may impact my birthday gift. So she's like,
and it will.
And it will. Kiara says, Dante, it's really corny when you use outdated terms. Like today you said sheesh. We don't say that anymore. Sheesh.
Does she know that word y'all didn't invent the word?
Yeah, I don't think she knows that we've been saying sheesh before they was on with their little hands telling sheesh on TikTok.
Yeah.
But she said I use outdated terms.
Yeah.
Do people not say lit anymore?
I do.
Well, let me not ask
If it's
y'all.
lit.
It's hard because like we're talking to
We're all corny.
Yeah.
We're all corny. So yeah, so apparently I use outdated terms. And I'm like, bro, you acting like I'm out here like those are tight. It's about to get crunk. It's about to be popping in here.
What's wrong with tight and crunk?
Bad.
bro.
That's bad, man. You're bad. Those are bad shit.
You a bad man. So yeah, so apparently I'm corny because of that. What about you, Nick?
Aside from rapper hands,
You have rapper hands?
Nick, show me some rapper hands.
Got the gunplay. I'm cocking the pistol.
but there's a lot of gun violence, so I make sure like proper gun safety. So I usually hold it like that though. You know what I mean?
Yo, Nick, let me tell you something. You and your lady are 1 and 2 for comment.
What you mean?
She's a lot more constructive.
That
than I am.
situation when I said I wanted to get a gun,
Yeah.
she went off on me. I had to rethink my decision.
That's funny.
So that's okay. So Nick, what is yours besides the rapper hands?
Man, I don't know. I do a lot of corny stuff. I feel like just trying to be corny though.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Like I just it's like dad humor around the house and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But I don't know if I do anything like I don't know. I mean, probably writing diatribes on Instagram posts or something. I don't know.
That's corny.
That might be it.
So this is what Ree, you have to give us a sound off on what he's called. What makes it corny? Okay, I know what my corny
makes you
is,
corny?
bro. And it's like the only way I can get my corny off is to do it as a joke. But I really want to do this, but I know it's corny, so I gotta get the joke off to make it a little bit less corny. So I went to the game. Friday. I feel like it's corny to show everybody off that you're sitting low at a game.
I noticed that too because I said not Coop at the game with the good seats, but he had me sitting far.
And I did 2 videos.
I
in case they didn't realize.
I said that boy was like on the floor. Not you on the floor. Yeah, that's corny
I
behavior.
was so corny. I had to get 2 videos off in case they didn't realize that was me on the first video. Like, this isn't a clip from ESPN. This is me. I'm down here.
They using my stuff.
But behind the scenes though, we had a pre-Instagram post meeting, and we're talking about the funny things to say
to make it as corny. Like, I hate it down here. The ball is too loud.
Oh my gosh. Did the ball just almost hit me?
The game's not as exciting when you can hear the plays. You know what I mean? Like it's just not. You know what's coming.
Exactly.
Yo, that is funny. I mean, we want to know from you guys. We're bringing back the question this week.
Yes.
And y'all better answer.
Yeah.
What is corny behavior to you? Mm-hmm. Do you believe that Russell Wilson is corny?
Yeah.
Or do you believe Future is corny? Or what is corny behavior in general? We want to know. We want to know so we can make sure that we are not doing said corny behavior.
Yeah.
So please go to our IG at the Soundboard Podcast and comment on the post. It'll be up on the day after this episode drops.
Corny is a spectrum.
It's a spectrum. So we want to know. We want to know where it lies on that. So I was actually on Instagram because it's like a big part of my life. I was on Instagram and I came across this video of Mano, who has a podcast, and he's on the podcast and he's talking to
Mano's a rapper.
Mano is a rapper. You probably don't know who he is.
He had one song. You probably Hi Hater.
Hi, Hater.
Yeah.
Dante, it's corny whenever you reference people like Mano. No one listens to them.
Hey guys, I promise the conversation's bigger than this. And so he was on a podcast and he was having a conversation with his friend or somebody who he considers to be a friend. And they were talking about his latest song that he had out, and the friend thought the podcast was a great opportunity to basically say, I don't like the song.
Right.
And so Mano goes off. He goes off. What you mean? You want to disrespect me? Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
But in the what he basically was saying was, like, as a friend, you're supposed to have my back.
Right.
This ain't the right time for you to try to tell me that something is whack. Right. So he's meaning like in person.
Right.
And so I just wanted to know, because we were talking about this idea of constructive criticism.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you guys think is right? Was the friend right for basically being like, Mano, the music is garbage?
Mm-hmm.
And so Mano was like, you don't have to comment like that. He said, you put it out. You opened it up to comment. So why would I not comment? Or do you think Mano was right and in the fact that he was less upset with his opinion, but more upset about the fact and how, when and where he decided to vocalize it?
I feel like, so obviously I'm a very vocal person. I tell people when they're wrong or when I think
Nick,
they're
I
wrong
would hate being your friend. I would hate being your friend
all the time. But I do it because I say when I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna say when I'm wrong or do something bad, then I feel like I could be in the wrong right now. I justify it to myself by thinking that if I'm gonna do it to myself, then I can tell you you're wrong too. But like, I don't know. I think it depends. Like, also, we need some clarification. Was Mano like, behind the scenes like, yo man, I got some new music, and he was like, oh, do your thing. Yeah. Or is he like, oh, I really like this music, and then all of a sudden was like,
switched up.
This is trash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's different if he's never saying.
Mano said in the video that he has never said anything bad about his music.
But has he ever said anything good about his music?
Facts. That's what. Yeah.
Right.
And so it's like, also, if you're on a pod, you're bringing this other personality on, and part of their job is to critique music. Then if he says that he likes it when he doesn't, he's not doing his job and he's being inauthentic.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot more convoluted in this specific case because we're talking about content and media production versus just like an interpersonal relationship. But in my opinion, if he didn't like the music, he didn't like the music. Don't be that upset. He didn't say you're a bad person. He just said
He said the music is garbage.
I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I don't know. When you're an artist, he feels like he has ties to this thing, so he feels personally attacked. But I think it is what it is.
It is what it is.
And I have a follow-up question for that. Coop, answer the question. I have a follow-up.
I'm probably not the best person to ask.
Why?
I'm not good about giving criticism.
Do you not? I'm trying to think.
I will.
That is a lie, because you criticize me all the time.
You ask for it though.
Oh, that's fact.
I usually don't give criticism to people that don't ask for it. And in my past, I've had a friend and, they were doing a lot of things that I disagreed with. And I didn't approach them about it, until it got to the point where it really affected me. And then I ended up criticizing them in front of everybody.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so then, of course, they reacted negatively.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm really like trying to help you, but it was the wrong
place.
Wrong time. My temperament wasn't right because I was fed up, basically.
Right.
So, I mean, as far as a specific situation, I'm pretty much with Nick. It's like if he was on there to give his opinion on the music, then he was supposed to do his job. But if it wasn't really warranted, then that's something he should have handled behind closed doors. If he felt like the need to tell him that he didn't like his music.
Hey, by the way, y'all heard his new song? It's kind of garbage out of nowhere.
So we were actually talking about this. I was talking about this with my therapist a while ago, and he was saying that constructive criticism is not real. He was saying that there is no way that criticism can be constructive. He was like, now feedback can be constructive, and so he calls it constructive feedback, not constructive criticism,
because nobody wants to be criticized.
Criticism already has a negative, it already has a negative context. But if you say constructive feedback, you're giving feedback on something. So I want to know. So Coop gave a great example about a time where he gave some constructive. Would you say
It wasn't constructive. It wasn't constructive.
It was. Would you say it was destructive?
It was destructive. It was. I didn't mean for it to come out that way, but
But
was.
that's what it was.
Ultimately,
Well,
it was.
Okay, I've been, before I answer your question, I got another question.
Okay.
To you, or if your therapist went through this, what is the actual difference between criticism and feedback, though?
That's a good
So
question.
he was saying that basically his whole thing was criticism is negative because it comes from a negative place.
Like a judgmental.
It
type
comes from
thing.
like a
You're like
ju-
looking down.
Yeah, I'm looking down on you. Like
Yeah.
I'm criticizing you.
Right. Okay.
Like he was saying, there's no way to make criticism
Right.
positive. But he was saying feedback is different. Feedback is 9 times out of 10 you're asking me for it. I'm providing it. Feedback is it can be constructive because it's like I'm giving you this feedback so that you can be better.
So but that's the thing though, because like I said, I don't usually do that unless people ask me for it. So you think feedback is they have to ask for it first?
I don't even necessarily think
Believe
that
that?
people have to ask for it, because have y'all ever just had like an old head come up to you and be like, "Hey, young buck, let me just help you out."
My dad.
So I would say that sometimes feedback, when it comes from a good heart place, is constructive.
Okay, that makes
because
sense.
it's the whole goal is I'm not doing this to bring you down.
Right.
I'm doing this to help you be better.
right.
But I would say, how much of the onus is on the person that's receiving the criticism or feedback to interpret it properly?
That's
Because I could be giving you feedback, right?
Right.
And I'm like I care about you. This is what's going on. This is what you need to change, or what is what I'm seeing, and then you could take it as me just being critical.
right.
So like it seems like, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of nuance there between the parties.
So I agree. It depends on your relationship with the person. So I'll give you guys an example of a time where somebody called me out in a public setting, but it actually was good. For my birthday, I was surrounded by some of my closest friends. My birthday that just passed, and I was telling them that I was struggling at work because I don't like to ask for help, and I'm
Right.
new in my role, and I was like, I'm being forced to ask for help, and I don't like this. And shout out to Kim, who is a listener of the pod. She said, "Oh, you have a pride problem."
Yeah.
She said, "You have a pride problem."
Yeah.
I said, "At my birthday?" Not you trying to tell me it's at my birthday, but I felt like it was one coming from a good place.
Right.
She's right.
Yeah.
I do have a pride
Right.
problem, and I didn't feel like she was calling me out in front of strangers. I felt like she was calling me out in front of my friends, people who knew me best.
Yeah.
So I felt like it was a safe space.
You didn't feel attacked.
Now, I didn't feel attacked. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Now, if she would have called me out, in front of some random people, and like I felt blindsided. I
Right.
feel like that is when something.
Because now
can
you're trying to make me look bad.
and let's be clear. Some of y'all friends be calling y'all out in public spaces, not because they're trying to help you, but because they're trying to tear you down. But I don't want to talk about that.
Too personal.
Nah, I'm just saying. Some of y'all friends be calling it constructive, but it really be destructive. Nick, have you ever had an experience where you either called somebody out, or somebody's called you out in a public setting, or even have you ever done that and like felt bad about it or something?
I never feel bad. I'm gonna be straight. No, honestly,
Nick said, "I said what I said."
it's like, for me, it's like if the content of my message and what I'm saying is true, and there's times when I could absolutely be inflammatory and I'm in the wrong. But if I'm being calm with you and talking, if what I'm saying is true, and if you're taking it as criticism, then I feel like you need to examine. Like, it's probably because there's truth to it.
Right.
What'd
And
you say,
so-
Dante? About a hit dog?
A hit dog will holler. Roof.
Because So I do it. I've literally done it on all y'all's posts that I've posted on. People feel attacked, and it's like, it's like,
Because it's a little bit of truth there that you realize somebody telling you the truth, and you might not have actually seen it until
But I
somebody
think
pointed
also
out.
you got to think truth can be relative though, depending on your belief.
Truth is truth.
Is it?
I feel like it is. I feel like there's. So we don't need to get into a huge philosophical thing here. So
Is truth is true?
I feel like there are things that are true and not true, and there are things that people maybe choose to believe, choose to follow that aren't based in truth, but there's it brings them, some kind of like joy or fulfillment or something like that. But
Comfort.
Future.
AKA future.
Right.
I just, I don't know. I feel like, I'm guilty of this with everybody in my life, my girl, everybody. So I feel like, I do talk to people a lot about, it's not necessarily me critiquing them necessarily, but like me talking to them about their beliefs or like their stances and things. And, I do a lot of, I make sure I'm equipped. I make sure I have information. I do a lot of reading and listening to these things. So it's like, I feel like some people, I don't feel like I'm better than them or anything like that.
Right.
But I also feel like if I were in the wrong or doing something, I want you guys to be like, that was out of line, or you're wrong in this.
Right.
Because I want to grow.
Yeah. That's the whole goal.
Right. I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah.
So I guess, when you think about it, can we all agree that it comes from a heart place? Like, what is your heart when you're telling me this?
Right.
And two, do I want it?
That's
Some people just don't want it. I got into it with a guy, and I didn't even call him out in a public space. I called him out in a space where it was just him and I.
Right.
And it made me realize, like, I thought we were in a place where we could hold each other accountable, but that's just not where we are.
Right.
So I'm gonna just let you do you, and I'm gonna let you do me. And what I'm realizing, bro, is sometimes you just gotta let people do them.
Right.
Like
Definitely.
sometimes you gotta just let people do them.
What I say? Velma. Scooby-Doo. Velma.
Let them look. Because this the thing, bro. What I'm realizing is I'm not about to. I used to be somebody who would just sit and argue with people.
No.
Argue people down, and it would piss me off.
No.
Am I right? I was that person popping off on Facebook. I used to
It's
pop
my
off on
favorite thing.
Twitter. Bro, when I was in college, I was the president of NAACP. Anytime somebody did something ignorant, I was writing an op-ed piece about it in our Shorthorn.
Really?
They was tired of me. I would be like, you said this. It was inappropriate.
Right.
And just know we about to march on you.
Yeah.
Hey, where's the lie?
Where's the lie?
Honestly.
So, but I realized though, it was like sometimes people just sometimes people are so set in their ways, you exhaust yourself trying to change their mindset. It's different if they come and, and they ask your opinion or they say, I want this. But yeah, bro, I think it comes down to a heart motive. And also, in that situation, if he had talked to him, if he had played the song beforehand and he didn't give any negative feedback,
Right.
then he was dead wrong for bringing it up on that podcast in a public forum for thousands. I don't know how many views or listens he gets to bring that up then.
Yep.
I would agree with that.
Yep.
But if you hadn't played it for him, see, this is why you got to play. This is why you got to talk about stuff before you get on public set.
Imagine he was like trying to tell him it wasn't very good, but not just being like, this sucks. Imagine he was like, ooh, you do you.
Right.
And he was like, oh, okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
He tried to drop subliminals like the last couple weeks.
Hey, bro, I ain't gonna lie to you. Don't hate it.
As Chris used to
Don't
say,
hate it.
that looks good on you.
Yeah, bro. I really do think that. I think if he had this is the issue. If Mano had given him the opportunity beforehand, and he did not say anything, then dude is in the wrong.
Right.
But if Mano had not given him the opportunity, and y'all get on this podcast, and you say, "Hey, bro, what you think about my song?" and he says, "I think it's garbage." Me, it's giving mediocre.
Yeah.
Then I don't think old dude was wrong, but I do think that you have to be cognizant. I try my best to pull people to the side and not do it in public forums because even just once you put embarrassment into play, that person's not even listening to what you said anymore.
Right.
Because now they're embarrassed.
Yep, exactly.
Like they got to get past the embarrassment just to now get past the feedback.
Right.
I don't even want to hear it no more.
Like you said earlier, some people are just not trying to grow.
And some people just don't want it.
Mano went fishing for compliments and didn't like what he caught. That's what happened.
Right. That boy was like, oh, my boy gonna definitely tell me this. He definitely gonna tell me this is a banger. He definitely gonna tell me this is a banger. So we have Nick on the show, and so because we have Nick here, Nick, we always ask somebody who comes on, what is a question that you wanted to pose to us that we can also give our opinion on, because this is the soundboard.
All right, so I'll give a little bit of a preface here. So, there's a lot of things been going on in the world, like Ukraine and Russia.
Right.
And one of the things that I've been, reading about, kind of investigating a little bit is, I said investigating, like I'm like a journalist.
Nick probably be up in the middle of the night. Nick probably be up in the middle of the night. His girl come in, and all you see is the light illuminating his face in a dark room.
Elementary.
It is so funny. She'll get in the car and like the last thing I'm listening to will come on.
Yeah.
Listen to something called like Why Nations Fail. She's like, you listen to this while you just drive around?
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong
Nick,
with you?
dang, do you listen to? I'm gonna send you some self-help or something.
I listen to some dense stuff.
Yeah.
But so I'm just kind of like looking into like what is going on like in Russia in the sense of like what do its people believe, right? 'Cause
Right.
This is a lot of this is carried out by the government, and so I was trying to look up data on how many people are like for this Ukraine invasion, how many people are against it, and then I went down a hole of like kind of like how propaganda just seeps into people's minds, how it can just like, affect the way you think.
Right.
And then from there, we always think like, oh, I would never fall for like propaganda or whatever. So then I just kind of like went down this rabbit hole of like, do we have free will?
Yeah,
And like,
yeah.
do we, are we influenced by the outside? Do we actually have freedom of thought? Or is like so much just, do we have so many influences in our head, always in our ear, that we're aware of and not aware of, that we really don't have much choice of what we do or think? So I
Right.
wanted to ask y'all, do y'all think we have free will?
Do we have free will? So I'm gonna be honest. Let me pull up the definition for free will, because I want to make sure that we are talking about it. We are talking about it in a manner that we each can all agree on. Okay. So it says free will is the power of acting without the constraint of necessity or fate, the ability to act at one's own discretion. Okay, the power of acting without the constraint of necessity or fate,
Right.
the ability to act at one's own discretion.
Right.
Based on that was from dictionary.com. In terms of that, do we have free will? The answer is no, man. We don't have free will. We don't. We are in the most technological age, even though we far behind, because I was telling them early we should have flying cars by now, but that's a whole nother issue. But I don't believe so. I think everywhere you turn, there is someone trying to influence your thought, whether that's the news, whether that's Instagram, social media. I think even the people, the woke folk,
Right.
who say that they don't, that they have free will, and I see the things that y'all don't see going on, that they're also being influenced
By something
by
else.
them watching content,
Probably more.
from people,
Probably more.
right?
Yeah,
From
yeah,
people
yeah,
who
yeah.
believe what they believe.
Right.
I think the
That's how
only
you get
way
into a cult.
Right. I think the only way that one has free will, I don't think it exists in from a world perspective, because I think the only way you could have free will is if you were basically raised in the wilderness and you didn't have access to basically anybody else's opinion. You know what I'm saying?
So, by that definition, I would say no. But by my own definition, which is right,
See, Nick telling me wrong, because the people be coming up with their own definition.
So to me, free will is, I know it's read the definition, but like I said, mine's right. To me, free will.
He doesn't want feedback. He doesn't want feedback. He doesn't want.
Don't worry, I'm here. I'm gonna criticize it though.
To me, free will is the ability to change your outcome.
So you think you can change your outcome?
Yes.
Okay.
So, but I think the word free will is an oxymoron? Because it's gonna cost you something. It's not
Right.
free, but you can impose your will on your life.
You sound real woke.
Does that sound woke? It's gonna cost something. It's not free. It's gonna cost you something to change your life, to change your destiny. Is gonna cost you something.
Okay.
All right.
Nick, what you think?
Let me pose a.
Oh, he's
question
shifting
then.
in his
Let me pose a
chair.
question.
He about to light you up, and his leg is crossed.
So you think that you have free will and you can impose, you can change the trajectory of your life.
Yes.
So not just technology. Think of it from
Why are you a
this
bum,
point.
Chris?
Why then?
That's interesting because like I don't see a 2022 outside. What's happening?
Because clearly you're not trying hard enough.
You just must not want. Okay. No. But so you're here because of millions of years of evolution. You didn't get to choose your parents, where you were born. You know, there's literally like so many things happen, right? You have you know, how many ancestors, and they all had this life and all these little things. Like when you look at migration patterns and education and, you know, wealth accumulation, all these things led to you being born. And so, do you have free will if you couldn't really control where you were born? You can't really control what you think. You can't control things that you don't know that are influencing you. You can't control things that you do know are influencing you.
Right.
So you might think that I have freedom of thought, but all those thoughts
Come from
Our
somewhere.
accumulation
are
of
determined from all of this
somewhere.
stuff.
and things that and you can create your own opinion about it,
Right.
but it's still based on
You have that opinion based on media,
right,
and
or
all
something.
and always something. Something is always it's determinism, right? So it's the same thing where you say like someone hits a baseball. That ball is flying through the air because we hit it with a bat. This guy has a bat because he was handed. Like there's always something, right? So like true free will means that you could have done something else instead of this thing,
Right.
and that you know and can influence all the different factors that are
Within
going to
the
go into your
thing.
decision.
So I think I know why Coop said what he said. So there's a guy, his name is John Martin Fisher. He says human agents do not have free will, but they are still morally responsible for their choices and actions.
That's okay.
He said, in a nutshell, Fisher thinks that the kind of control needed for moral responsibility is weaker than the kind of control needed for free will. So he's basically saying that although he does not believe that free will is real, but you are still responsible for your actions based on the information that you
that
have,
you possess.
that you possess.
So there's-
which I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a train of thought. So there's hard determination or hard determinism, and then soft, right? Hard determinism means like you have like no free will. Everything leading to this point happened for a reason, and
Right.
you don't really have any free will, right?
Right.
So soft determinism believes that you don't have any choice of what you do at this point, really. But as far as actual actions go, so like let's say you're on a diving board, right?
Right.
Someone like pushes you off the diving board, you end up in the water.
Right.
So you don't have any control of that. You end up in the water in the end.
Right.
But there are people that jump off the diving board themselves.
Right.
So the outcome is still the same. You still
Right.
end up in the
You still
water.
end up in the
but
water,
you
right.
had to make the decision to do the action though.
Right.
So that's what some people believe, like where I guess like the line of delineation is to like culpability. So if you think we don't have free will, Dante, do you think that people are, should be held culpable for their actions if they murder someone? But the reason they murdered someone is because they were hungry and they were born into poverty, and there's millions of years of systemic racism that led to that point. So like, how do you reconcile
although
that?
I'm saying free will from a perspective of, I think your ideas and your actions are always going to be based on the information that you have in your hand.
Right.
However, society operates on a law system.
Right.
So although you may not feel like, it's just like those people, have y'all seen those videos with those people who be like, I am not an American citizen. I am a free agent of my own accord.
Yeah.
But you're on American soil.
Right.
So whatever you do,
Right.
you don't get to just do what you want to do.
Right.
You're living here. You're operating here. I don't even care if you're in the wilderness. That's owned by somebody.
Right.
Whether that's the government or what. But I do believe that as a people, and we operate in a system where we come together and say, and although it's stupid, we are still going through some of it because you have people who are in jail for small drug offenses.
Right.
They should not be, but I do believe we operate on a grand scale of, we say this is a law, and if you do make this mistake, or you do this will be a consequence.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So like, we come together and we've decided as a people that this is
something
illegal.
That's something I talk about a lot, is like when people do wrong, it's like, I know you were wrong, but a lot of times I can understand
Yeah.
why you did what you did.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm judging you like, oh, you're a terrible person because
Right.
you did this, this, and this. I know that stems from something that happened to you, or for some reason
Right.
Yeah.
you felt like that was your only option at the time, right?
But you got to deal with them consequences.
right. And of course, there's some evil people in the world,
Right, right.
But I don't believe the majority of people in the world are evil.
I
But
agree with
there's things that people it comes down to exposure, and this is why it's so important to expose people to as many things as we can. Why it's important to read books so you learn as much as you can. So whenever you get into a situation, you have several options at your disposal.
Right. Like, have you ever met somebody who's like, I didn't have a choice?
Yes. You
I
always
did not have a choice. I did not have a choice.
There's always a
This was
way.
the only thing I knew how to. This is the only way I knew how to get it. This is it. This is the only way I know how to get money.
Nope.
Okay. There's plenty of ways to get money. Let me be very clear. There's plenty of ways.
Yeah.
That's the only way that you've decided
Right.
is the right way.
You decided to take.
or you decide to take
That was the. I hate to say it. I said this makes you sound judgmental, but that was the easiest route because that's the route you saw.
Right.
You didn't look for a different path to success.
Right.
You went to the path that you saw in front of you.
The path of
They
least resistance.
Exactly.
The path of least resistance
Exactly.
says I'm going to go in the direction of the path that is the easiest for me to handle.
Right.
Or
Right.
the easiest for me to get over. And so
Right.
you chose that path. So I do believe, bringing it back to your question, Nick, like I said, I think people think that they have free will, but at the end of the day, all of your thoughts come from information.
Right.
Information. Either you're taught it or you find out by yourself. Like, I'm a notorious Googler. I'll be Googling stuff, random stuff. I didn't come up with this information myself.
Yeah.
I looked it up. I've determined what I think is
Right.
based on the information
Right.
that I have at hand. And I think a lot of people operate like that.
I feel like the probably the better question, like once you get to a certain point, like what do you believe you do or don't have free will? It's like it's probably at least as far as like how we operate, it's probably more concise to ask how much free will do we have?
Right.
You know, right? 'Cause it's like, you can't change, billions of years
Things that
of,
happened
like,
before
yeah,
you.
exactly.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like at a certain point, like you have this thought process, and it is scary to think like I don't have free will. Like everything I'm even thinking is like
Yeah.
Comes from somewhere.
That gives me a hopeless feeling. So
you
even
hopeless
if it's true, I personally can't buy into that mindset. You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I do think when you say how much do you have, I think you have a lot of free will. If you ask that question,
Right.
because you can decide your actions.
Right.
You can decide based on the information that you have, because you can always get more information. You can decide what to do with your actions. So in a sense, you can create your future.
Yes.
You can create your life.
what about third world countries that don't have internet?
Okay, well, that's different. Dang, Nick. Gosh, dang. Nick, dang. Nick like that person.
take yourself to CNN.
Nick, right. Nick like that person. Your mama be like, it's kids in Africa who love to have that food. Well, send it to them, baby.
There's kids in Dallas that would love that.
Right. It's kids up the street,
Yeah.
around the corner, that only eat that food.
No, that's good. That's really good. I think it's time. Soundbite. of the week.
Let's go. Well, first, before we dip into that, we just want to thank Nick for coming on that.
Man, we
Thank
appreciate
y'all.
you.
This is therapeutic.
It is, right?
It really
Hey,
is.
Nick about to have a podcast. Nick about to have a podcast. Nick, I'm so glad that you came on the podcast. I feel like I've learned a lot about you, and I think that I can decide that I like you now.
Hey,
Free will? Free will? Is that
nah, this was always determined to like.
I like Nick. So we want to thank Selma. We want to thank Nick for being on
Oh,
here
yeah.
on this
My
episode.
guy.
So now you know when I go crazy in comments. It's coming from a place of love. It's coming from a good place.
I don't know,
you
Nick. You might make me snap
and,
back.
and he has no choice.
I have to.
I have to.
Coop, hit him with the soundbite of the week.
And this goes, hand in hand with what we've been discussing today. So soundbite of the week is, in any given moment, we have two options: to step forward into growth or step back into safety.
Read that again.
At any given moment, we have two options: to step forward into growth or to step back into safety.
That's good.
And we're growers over here. And we're showers.
I say, whoa.
We do it all, baby.
Anyway, want it? How do you want it? How's the deal? Coming up, all right, guys, we want to thank you for tapping into this week's episode of the Soundboard Podcast. Please tap in for all the fans of JJ. He'll be back next week.
He'll be back.
He'll be back next week. We were just joking. He's still on the show or whatever. But JJ will be back. Hey guys, don't forget, follow us on social media at the Soundboard Podcast. You can keep up with me at Dante Speaks Life. Man, go follow your boy.
And you can follow me at thisiscoop_.
You guys can keep up with Nick at Nickerfoo. NICKERFOO.
A hard K. Hard K in there.
Hey guys, keep up with Nick, keep up with me, keep up with Coop. We out.
Peace.